keep it 1 for 100. My man keep it 1 for 100. My ladies keep it 1 for 100. My peoples keep it 1 for 100.
100.
Welcome to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday high school playoffs. Boy, we got some games in the books. My man Big E is fired up. His team finally won a gold ball.
Got him one.
Got him one. Got to be happy for them Yellow Jackets.
Oh, yeah.
I know people was texting me last night, Big E.
Yeah.
And asked me how I feel. You mean, how do I feel? I'm happy for him. Yeah, we might get on to him. But I got to say, I'm going to give him his props. I'm going to give him his flowers. My flowers, where are my flowers at? My flowers right here on the table. They might have fell off.
Oh, there we go.
Here, give me the flowers.
There you go.
Got to give Coach Corbin his flowers. You know why? He coached a hell of a game last night. He punted when he was supposed to punt. Went for it when he was supposed to go went for two. But Muskogee, Coach Hill, you're a state champion coach. You should know better. But they played a great game.
Hey,
Choctaw played a great game.
Muskogee has never beat Choctaw.
Never.
5-0.
5-0. Corbin owns him. You know when they say, who's your daddy? They're going to say Corbin's his daddy because keeping it 100, folks.
That was the last game that we won.
Yeah, I beat him in the playoffs. Beat him in the playoffs, so congratulations to.
But you got to give credit to Muskogee. They had a great season. Jamarian Ficklin, great career. Going to go on and play at Utah. And I really think he's going to make a name for himself there. He's going to be
time.
Yeah, he's going to be a big time player there in the Big 12. And I think he's going to have a great career. They have that running back that they have is going to be really good too. Yeah. So hats off to Muskogee on a great season. It came up just short, but still a great season, still a great career for a lot of those seniors.
Yes, sir. Like I said, one of the games it's all high school. Football this weekend has been outstanding. We still got a couple more games left. We're going to get into some of that. We're going to have a special guest, Chris Evans. I know everybody's kind of wondering about what's going on over at Guthrie and Newcastle and Deer Creek. I guess a young man. I'm just going by what I've seen on Facebook, Twitter, and all that. Jake Hayes is the OC for Deer Creek, and I guess he went over and helped Guthrie call the game. And I don't know that. We'll get to the bottom of that if Chris Evans come on. He might decline. He told me he was coming on. Because you got Carl Albert and Deer Creek going at it this coming up Saturday for a state champion, a repeat from week 10 or week 11, whatever week 9 or 10, with Carl Albert beat them 29-0. I will say, and I said this to a buddy the other day, I said Deer Creek looks totally different. Like they got some different kids, Maybe somebody moved in the transfer portal. I don't know when it stops and when you can play and when you can't play. But I feel like Deer Creek looks a little – not Deer Creek, but Guthrie looks a little different. Got a lot to talk about, You got OU football, kids transferring out. Getting in the portal. OSU and Mike Gundy, he's going to stay, but, I think they kind of inching him out the door, threatening to take some of his money or give up some of his money to, help the transfer portal. UCO, great season. Lose last week up there in Detroit. Pretty bad. I think it was 78-18, but great season. Their outstanding receiver, Terrell Davis, Choctaw graduate. Leading an all NCAA Division I and Division II in receiving yards, is up for some awards and probably going to win every award. I did hear that he's going to confirm and stay at UCO and not try to test his water in Division I. I like to see that because it's all about loyalty, baby. That's what it's all about, is loyalty. I like that. I like it. Because when you granted, he probably could have got some money, but you know what? If he's going to go to the NFL, he can go to the NFL from UCO.
Yeah,
he really can. He can. Then we'll talk about some other things, but real quick, let E talk about OU's football, who's staying and who's going. Then we'll jump into OSU real quick, and then get into this high school. We probably bring Chris Evans before I get into 6A and 5A and all that.
All right. So, transfers that OU has going out. I don't have any notes, so I'm just going to do this off the top of my head. Jackson Arnold hit the portal, which that was to be accepted.
Yes, sir.
Nick Anderson, those are the two big names that are hitting the portal. from OU. I mean, I kind of had some suspicion that Nick Anderson would enter just after I started hearing news about, the how the medical staff handled everything as far as his injury goes, and so I think there's a little bit of a he's upset about that. Wants to go get a fresh start somewhere, hopefully get healthy, because we know how good of a receiver he can be. I mean, he's elite. He could definitely be a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 on some of these NFL teams come a few more years. But yeah, and then you got Caleb Hicks, running back that hit the portal. Bauer Sharp hit the portal.
What about the other running back?
Which one was that?
Sawchuk.
He hasn't entered yet. They had one, Amika Megwa. He was a highly recruited coming in. He transferred here from Washington, I think it was. I don't think he ever touched the field at OU. So he hit the portal. But yeah, and I'm sure the portal opens tomorrow. So we're shooting this on a Sunday. It'll be open Monday, December 9th. I think you'll probably see a lot more names hit the portal and everything like that once it's officially open. And then now on starting Monday, coaches can start contacting majority of those recruits. Most of the contacts that you're seeing being made right now are kids that are transferring from programs which their head coach got fired, because there's a rule like if your head coach gets fired, you can hit the portal immediately, and you can start taking visits, and coaches can start contacting you immediately. So guys that are coming from North Carolina, things like that's what they're able to do. And then OU already has a visit scheduled with wide receiver from Arkansas, Isaiah Sagtegna, I think is how you say his name. Really good wide receiver. I watched him last year. And the games that I watched, Arkansas, that Arkansas-Tennessee game, that was pretty good. He had a pretty good game, so that would be a good add for the wide receiver room, especially with losing Nick Anderson.
What about the big tight end from Arkansas?
Big tight end. I heard that there's burned bridges there, so don't expect OU to do anything there.
Okay. Somebody said maybe USC?
South Carolina.
South Carolina?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. South Carolina for him. And then I haven't heard anything on Micah Hudson, the transfer from Texas Tech. I would be surprised if we didn't at least reach out and see. Yeah, but he's going to be a hot commodity in the portal. Then obviously we're going to be following John Mateer, the quarterback that was at Washington State, seeing if he wants to reunite with his offensive coordinator at OU now. So
what do you think about that? Is it Harbuckle?
Ben Arbuckle? Yeah,
Ben Arbuckle.
Yep, I watched a little bit of their film and everything, and it looks pretty good. What I like is, he's kind of labeled as an air raid guy, but he can run the ball too. I mean, you watch some of his games. I wouldn't say it's air raid. I mean, you got kind of hints of the air raid, you got hints of pro style, so that kind of stuff, and that he has some really good blocking concepts in the run game that I like a lot. Like there was this play where they ran G lead. You got guard tackle pulling from the opposite side, pulling around to block the defenders, and then their running back punches it in for a touchdown. And then, that quarterback, I mean, he's really quick with his decision making. He's not going to dance around in the pocket a whole lot. He's going to make his first few reads. If they're not there, he's taking off. And so that's how he was able to rush for so many yards this season and have so many rushing touchdowns. But, when he puts the ball in the air, it's good too. He kind of has a sidearm kind of throw. He played baseball, I think, in high school. He has a little bit of a baseball background, so he has a little sidearm kind of throwing motion, kind of similar to Matthew Stafford. But, yeah, I think that would be a name to follow in the portal. Another quarterback that – I mean, if he enters the portal, I don't know if he will, but it looks like Arkansas, like a lot of their pieces are starting to hit the portal. If Taylon Green, the Arkansas quarterback, I think he'd fit really good in that Ben Arbuckle system. He's got a really good arm. He's got legs. He can run. So I think I'd like to see if he does hit the portal, which there's no rumors or anything. This is just my opinion. I think that's a name that OU should reach out to. So
big time, man. like I said, they said Hawkins is going to stay. His brother just committed,
Yep.
so that's big time. Seemed like I know people kind of talked about X. I think X is going to stay.
Yeah.
Seemed like the other running back's going to stay too, the freshman kid. I think OU's going to lose some guys, but everybody on the staff is
I mean,
staying.
I think it's just started. I think there's going to be many more names that hit the portal. Some that'll shock us, some that won't.
I don't know. I think OU. I think a lot of guys will stay at OU. I mean, you can write some of the no names.
Well, I
but
think there's going to be some guys that were told like, hey,
you got to
like,
go.
Yeah.
I don't care where you go, but you can't be here.
Yeah. So
And
I
there's
think that's
nothing
what
wrong
happened
with
with
that.
Bauer Sharp. I think it was just like, well, it's not going to work out.
And they kept all the coaches. I know a lot
Yeah,
of people wanted Joe Don, but I mean, Venables is a guy I think he's loyal to his people, and there's nothing wrong with that. If they're doing right by you, I think Joe. I mean, I know Joe's not an offensive coordinator, but he's an Oklahoma guy. He still has the ties. I know his tight ends ain't been great. 10 shows flashes at times that he could be really
I'm tired
good.
of Oklahoma guys. You got our best coaches on the coaching staff are not Oklahoma guys.
No, you're right.
DeMarco Murray's an Oklahoma guy. He hasn't. I mean, he's able to recruit, but he can't stick with one or two running backs. He's got to put them all out there for. I mean, it's ridiculous. You ride the hot hand at running back. Then you got Joe John Finley. Look at how. I mean, outside of Braden Willis, what has he done with the tight end position?
Which one's Braden Willis? Hasn't played yet, has he?
No, he's still on the roster though. Still on the roster or he's on special teams on the 49ers. So, but yeah. So I think I don't know. I don't really like that decision. I think Ben should have been able to bring some of his guys over.
He's only 29 years old. He's only been coaching 2 years. He don't know nobody.
I mean, yeah, you got a good point there.
I mean, he's 29 years old. I mean, you're older than him, Big E.
I ain't that old. Come on
Okay,
now.
my fault.
But yeah. And then also before we get into high school, I want to go over the playoff rankings. That just came out.
Yes. I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So you got Oregon 1, Georgia 2. Well, this is like the rankings, but it's not the bracket.
What's
Let
the
me look at
bracket? You sent me the bracket.
Yeah, here I got it on my phone. I can pull
You
it
sent
up.
me the bracket.
But so yeah, Oregon 1, Georgia 2. I know those are for sure.
Did Alabama get in?
They did not.
Alabama did not get in.
Yeah. So you got So Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Boise State 3, and Arizona State 4.
I don't think Arizona State should be 4.
I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, I can see that argument, but who would you put at 4 over them? Because those first 4 seeds are
conference champion, but the Big 12 was
so
that weak.
like
though,
what Clemson? Clemson should have got that 4 seed. No,
I don't think Arizona State should got it though.
No, they were the only other one that could have got it. So I think.
I think you go to an 8 team. I don't. Was that
I like the idea of an 8 team better as well.
I think you got teams that really shouldn't be in there.
Yeah. But yeah, then you
pick to win it all. Then
hold on, let me get through the bracket. My goodness, jumping the gun here. You got what I left off there. Okay, Texas 5, Clemson, or they'll be taking on Clemson. They're ranked 12th. You got Ohio State and Tennessee ranked 8 and 9. That game will be in at Ohio State. That'll be a really interesting game. I think that'll be the funnest game out of the first round. I think we'll take
Tennessee.
I can see it going either way. I really can. And then you got Notre Dame and Indiana.
That's a good one.
Couple in-state.
In-state.
I mean, if you're an Indiana fan, you're not having to travel far to go watch that game. I saw the ticket prices to get into that game.
Yes, sir.
$1,300 is the cheapest ticket. That is the get-in price.
I will not be going unless somebody wants to help keep it 100. Me and Biggie and Jonah, even though Jonah's not here, he's on the wall. I was supposed to give him a call. I should have called him real quick. We'll call him when we get to the high school.
Yeah. And then Penn State taking on SMU. I think this bracket shapes up really good for Penn State. Because if they beat SMU, they go and take on Boise State, which Boise State's really good. They got that really good running back.
You stop him, you stop them.
Yeah. Well, their quarterback can throw it. They got weapons, but Penn State. I mean, they got that Abdul Carter on defense, who's really good. Their quarterback's really good. Their running back's really good. So Penn State's got a lot of weapons too.
Yes, sir.
And then after that, I mean, you'd have to face either probably Georgia or Notre Dame.
Ooh,
but I think
And I think right now Georgia is playing with
backup quarterback.
That and they're playing with devil's money, man. I mean, they're so lucky they win in overtime, or I mean they've lost. I mean they've won 2 games in overtime, and so right now they're probably one of the hottest teams out there. But, that luck is eventually going to run out. But, and like I said, they're playing with a backup quarterback. I don't know if Old Boy will be ready.
I mean, he came in on that last play. I mean, all he did was hand the ball off.
He couldn't throw the ball, though, Biggie. His arm was dead.
Really? I wasn't able to watch much.
Yeah, it was dead. It was if it was 3rd and 5, they wouldn't have got it, But, I mean, really, truly, man, Texas, really, he's not going to throw the ball, so line up and blitz.
But get this. Oregon's the 1 seed, right?
Yes, sir.
They're going to have to face the winner of Ohio State or Tennessee in the next round.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah. So I think this is where this 12-team system is flawed. Yeah. I think there should be a reseeding after the first round because you should get rewarded for having the best regular season. So I think there should be a reseeding, and they should play like the number 1 team should play the lowest seeded winner of the first round. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Oregon. I mean, even though they're ranked number 1, they're going to have a tough road to get to the championship. So, but you asked me who I got winning it all.
Yes, sir.
It's tough.
I'm gonna take Texas. Texas.
No, because what if they run into Georgia again? They can't beat Georgia.
Yeah, it's hard to beat team 2 times, 3 times the chart.
I don't know. Kirby Smart, he can coach. I think even though this is going to be a tough bracket for Oregon. I think it's going to be Oregon. I think they're probably the most well coached team in the nation right now.
Quarterback's playing outstanding.
Yeah, quarterback's playing really good.
Where did he go to college?
Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
And then, UCF, then Oklahoma. But I think Oregon. I think they'll go out there and win it. So I wouldn't be shocked if Notre Dame did, though. I think Notre Dame. I think that'll be the championship game. Oregon versus Notre Dame in the championship.
Good deal. So you want to bring on the guest real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's see if we can get a hold of Chris Evans from the Guthrie Beat Right. Right now they got a lot of going on that we could talk. I was going to just talk about Carl Albert Guthrie, but we talking about their coordinators going over to other schools and coaching. Let's talk about it. We'll be right back after what?
After one of these sponsors.
Keep it at 100. Oklahoma High School Sports. We'll be right back.
The gang's the same, but we changed the name, and we're now Chaos Customs OKC. Still your one-stop shop for all your vehicle upfitting and accessory needs. With almost 30 years in the business, we're your go-to for lift kits, wheels, tires, spray liners, bed covers, leather, fleet solutions, and so much more. Give us a call today at 405-778-8878.
Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday afternoon as we talk high school football. I got my man all the way up in Guthrie having some great lunch with his wife or whoever he's having lunch with, but he's going to take some time to talk to us. Mr. Chris Evans. What's up, Chris?
How are you doing, Tony? Good to hear your voice.
Oh, man, glad I got me and Big E. Jonas got the day off. He got his kids today. But, man, we want to talk because, man, we got a lot going on, man. High school football has been great. I tell you, every game, I know that every game has been played at UCO, but I got to say it's been pretty cool because all these games have been good games, 1-point games, man. You cannot ask, I know you guys have covered a lot of these games. Did you get to cover the Choctaw Muskogee game last night? I know I saw a big man on the sideline.
Yep. Phil was down there. Yeah. We got to, 4 of the 6 games were 1-point games. So it was very good. Still got 6 more to go, but off to a great start in these championship games at UCO. We've had good crowds. We've had great officials, great games, great performances. So it's been a really good week for high school football, which is kind of crazy. We're down to the final week. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. And the weather's been pretty good. I mean, I know I went out Friday night. I caught the Dell City Carl Albert game. Great game, man. When the game first started, you looked at, Dell City came out hot. It's hot cakes, man. Hitting Carl Albert in the mouth. And I was kind of scared for a second for Carl Albert, man. I don't think they've been hit like that all year. And, think about Dell City. They couldn't take advantage of a couple things that, that Carl Albert miscued on, 4th and 1, didn't get it. I think that could have been a questionable call. It could have went either way. Didn't get the measurement. So, just a guy being on both sides, Coach Dunn's good friend and, done the Coach Jones show for a few years. But I felt like, Robert had a pretty good game plan, came out and spread the ball out with 4 wide receivers, but just didn't feel like they couldn't connect on a couple passes that if they connect, hey, they're up 16-0. People kind of question the safety. It wasn't a safety. I'm sitting in that end zone. It wasn't a safety. I know people's like, oh, you're just saying that because you're Carl Albert. No, I'm not Carl Albert. I'm not Midwest City. I'm not Dell City. I'm Tony Johnson with Keep It 100, keeping it 100. So I do think it was a great game. I know people's going to say, That should be the championship game, and it could be, but I feel like Guthrie's playing pretty good football right now. I know there's a lot of questions going on. I know you probably seen Facebook and Twitter. I don't know. I had people ask, hey, make sure you ask Chris what's going on with the Deer Creek and the Guthrie coaching staff, whatever that guy's name, Jack Hayes. Do you know anything about that? I don't know if you can speak on it or not.
Yeah, Tony, as we record this Sunday afternoon, 2:00, I don't know a whole lot of the details. I know they're working on some stuff, so I really can't speak a whole lot to that.
I understand that.
But I think when I can, I'll be glad to do that. I'm not hiding from it, and I just don't want to be in the middle of anything that I wasn't a part of. So,
yes, sir. I understand. People's asking me. I have no idea. My wife is asking me, and I said, I said, funny thing is, I'm on with Chris today, and I asked him, but I don't know if he can speak on it. But I don't. It's one of those deals, Chris. He might be friends with somebody. And I said this to my wife, earlier before she left to go. My son's getting married, so he's looking for a place to get married at. And I thank God you came on the show, so I didn't have to go.
Yeah. It's I'm keeping it 100 too. I really, honestly, right now, 2:00 on Sunday, I don't know everything on there. I know there's conversations being had and. Just a little black eye before the big game. So,
yes.
We'll let the guys and gals who wear the suits and ties
take care of that. That's it. We can report as soon as we hear something. We should make sure we'll get it out on Twitter. One of your shows. So we'll make sure we get it out. But like I said, you talk about a big game this coming Saturday. Guthrie and Carl Albert played each other. You saw the first time. Carl Albert beat him 29-0. My brother, he was on the phone or he was on the deal. He kind of talked about this last week when we did the show at Dick's. He felt like Guthrie played Carl Albert the best this year. And I know people can say, how can you say that's 29-0? But I think Guthrie did some good things. I think Guthrie struggled on offense, but it seemed like they're playing a little bit better on offense. You can kind of speak on that. Do you feel like Guthrie's gotten better?
Yeah, you nailed it, Tony. The offense. You look at the last three games, all in the playoffs. When you look at Lawton Mack, Booker T, and Newcastle, Guthrie's played their three best games of the season, their best football by far. They're always going to be good defensively. They might give up a little bit more points this year compared to last few years just because of the new personnel. Remember, they lost 12 of the top 13 players. Their linebacker Herzl in the middle is the only player back from a year ago. But the offense with the two quarterbacks they've been playing with all season long, but they're starting to get some more confidence in the offense. They don't throw it a whole lot, as you saw, but they are becoming a little bit more effective when they throw the football. And then the Elijah Smith and Colton Carlock have really been running the football really, really well. Booker T, Washington, they have a second or third best defense in Class 5A. I think Carl Albert by far has the best defense. But after that, you can have a discussion on Booker T. Guthrie's up there as well. I'm sure Dell said, however you want to look at that. But they have been really good. But it's the offense that's really helped this team play their best football in the last 3 weeks to get into the spot where they are now.
Yeah. You look at it, like I said, I always tell people it's hard to beat a team twice. I know you're facing it. And I know, like I said, a lot of people are going to say the Carl Albert Dell City game was a state championship. And I was one of the guys that said that. But
sure.
You're right. Guthrie is playing pretty good football right now. And you never know. That's why you got to go put on the pads. You got to go put on the shoulder pads and the helmets. It is flu season. You never know who comes down with a head cold and can't go. You just don't know. And that's one of the things that I used to always worry about with my son being a wrestler. You getting to go in the big tournament. Who's going to get sick? Just
right.
They're high school kids. They're still kids. So you never know whose girlfriend's going to break up with them and have a bad game. Hey, I'm just keeping it real,
That's true. It's true. We look at it earlier. Owasso had their way a little bit away with Bixby in the beginning of the year, and now we had a back and forth contest this past weekend with Bixby coming out. A lot of people, including myself, out of Owasso's lines would just kind of dominate that. But Laura Montgomery and those players, they just know how to win in those big situations, and that goes a long ways. Which is exactly what Carl Albert will have on the final home football game or the final football game of the season next Saturday. So teams like Bixby and Carl Albert just know how to win, especially inside that Chad Richardson Stadium. So that goes a long ways. And Guthrie will have their hands cut out, have a tough job because Carl Albert's defense is still going to be good no matter what the temperature is, what month it is. So it's just, we'll see if Guthrie can find some offense to kind of stay in this ball game. But, it's, they made the finals. And as you mentioned, number 1, number 2, and 5A all season long has been Carl Albert and Dale City, no doubt. And I definitely see your side of that should be a state championship game. The other way to maybe look at it, and it's just how you want to look at it, the other side of the bracket, you had Pryor, Lot Mac, Guthrie, Newcastle. You had a bunch of teams on that side that could make a run. And so you have a one side of the bracket, somebody's going to be very happy to get there. The other side, you have the big dogs fighting it out to see who's going to be a good favorite in the championship game. So it's just how you want to look at it. If you're Dale City, you got to go through Carl Albert sometime.
Yes, sir. And it's funny you talk about it because me and E, before we brought you on, we talked about the college playoffs, and it's the same way. You got Ohio State, they win, they got to play who, Big E?
They got Oregon. They're the first seed. They got to play the winner of
Ohio
State and Tennessee. So
I mean, the way you look at it, man, you can. I mean, how do you do it? We don't control that. OSSA, whoever does the what's called, you could probably do a bracket and a seeding or however you want to do it. But at the end of the day, you got to go play the game, no matter what. If Carl Albert, if Dale City beats Carl Albert, what happens here? Is there anybody say anything about it? No. Hey, Carl Albert got beat. Carl Albert's been the number 1 team. When you got 6 guys, coming back from last year's state championship team, then you get a young man and young. He gets to commit to Oklahoma State, and you got probably the best player in the state of Oklahoma, one of the top players in the state of Oklahoma, Caden Davis. There's a young man that's going to probably go play at one of the best Division II schools in the nation, in Harding. So when you got all that much power coming back, they are kind of. I can't say they're bad on quarterbacks. I think the young man that's played quarterback, Devin, has done a great job. I think he was the big reason for they won the other night. He gets a 30, 40-yard run. I think Dale City was shocked that he made that kind of run. And, I mean, the kid played lights out, and that's what you got to have. They don't have the big-time running back like X Schwab, the little guy. They got Simon Kidd has done a good job, but Elijah's come in, Kay Davis, and then, they got Newton back. So they got a lot of weapons, but I'm going to give credit where credit's due. When you got that many good coaches over there, probably like Guthrie, when you got that many good coaches over there and you're sitting in there and you're preparing for this game. I know Mike's probably in the lab right now, and Guthrie's coach is in the lab. This is what happens when you got great coaches. They're going to put a game plan to try to beat Carl Albert, and Carl Albert got to put a game plan to try to beat Guthrie. Guthrie's not the same team they played in week 8 or week 9. They're a whole different ball club, and I think they're not scared of Carl Albert. And I think 90% of the kids that play Carl Albert are scared of that CA on the helmet. I mean, I'm just being real, and that's how it is with Jinx and Bigsby. When you see those teams, you pull up on the bus, you're like, oh my God, I got to play Bigsby. You talk about the Wassel game, you look at a team that goes undefeated, beats Union, beats Bigsby, beats Jinx, and it's tough to beat a team twice. I tell people that all the time. But then you come back and they get beat. They should have got probably beat in the semifinals against Jinx, found a way to win that game. Then they had to come around and play another overtime against against Bigsby for the state championship. That's a lot of football, a lot of tough work, but it shows you right there that, hey, you know what? Bigsby knows how to win. You just said it earlier. Montgomery knows how to win. Carl Albert football knows how to win, but Guthrie's been a thorn in Carl Albert's butt. So if there's anybody that can bite the dog and hurt the dog, it's the Guthrie Blue Jays. Even though they're not a dog, they're Blue Jays, but they can do it.
Yeah, no, you said exactly right, Tony. And Guthrie has been hit by Marcus James and Davis, and they've covered Tristan Haynes. But same thing can be said for Carl Albert. They probably had some things that they could work on. They had some penalties that really hurt a couple of drives. They could have made it a whole lot more than 29-0. So there's some things that Carl Albert probably feels like they left on the field in Guthrie as well. So you said it right. Both coaching staffs, they've been together for a long time, and amazing enough, Guthrie and Carl have been playing football against each other for a long time. But this is going to be the first time. This will be the first time they've ever met in a playoff. So. That's interesting coming out of District 5A2. And so just one other point on Dale City moving from 5A3 to 5A4. That's a vote of the coaches. The coaches divide up 5A and they go 16's going to the east, 16's going to the west. all right, you 16 coaches on the West, you split up your two districts. And it sounds like to me there was a vote taking place that moved Dell City from 5A3 to 5A4.
Okay,
And that's
okay.
how they – and so the Oklahoma Football Coaches Association submit that to the OSSAA, and the OSSAA says, this is what you want. We look at it, looks fair to us, and then they approve what the Oklahoma Football Coaches Association – usually what they want. So that came through the Football Coaches Association, approved by the OSSAA.
So what you got next week, Tuttle and Elgin? I mean, who you think favors that one?
My goodness. So we were talking about Elgin Wagner, and Tuttle's just on the other side of the bracket, just hanging out like wet clothes. And they're like, we're pretty good too. We got Cruz Campbell and Simon. You got Roundsville and McAdoo, who are extremely, extremely good. I think once it's something magical about a state championship game. You can have all this dominance, but it kind of equalizes when you get into that stadium. I think it'll be a fantastic ball game. Elgin has done everything they has been asked to do of them. They've had tough games. They won them. They were supposed to blow people out. They blew them out. And they've been doing that all season long. They've done everything. The one question I have for Elgin is they got to the semis last year and lost 7-6 to Claremore. They've gotten over that hump. Now they got one more hump to get over against a program like Tuttle, who has won a lot of these big time ball games. And so how do you handle the atmosphere inside Chad Rich Stadium? That's going to be a big deal for Elgin. But Elgin, two-time wrestling state champions. They've been to the state baseball tournament a couple times in a row. They've been to state semifinals in football. So I think they're building that up, and we'll be playing with a lot of confidence. I think it'll be a fantastic game. I'm absolutely horrendous in picking games this year. But if I had to pick one, I would go Elgin. And so congratulations to Tuttle. You probably just won state.
I'm gonna have to ride my man Cruz, man. Him and CJ and Brady, man. These guys have been good to keep 100. They always retweet me. I love when people retweet me. I love giving people love. But I gotta say, man, I think Tuttle. Elgin got to give him some love going from 5A to dropping to 4A. I really didn't think they was going to be good this year after losing their top running back. They proved me wrong, but Elgin is building his own thing after getting kids from the Lawton area, Lawton Mac, Lawton MacArthur, and Lawton High. So you got to give them some love. I don't think they're going to fall off. I think they're going to keep doing their thing. But Tuttle, when you got the brand new stadium and you got that, you say, what's the name of that stadium at UCO, Chad Richardson? I think
Chad Richardson Stadium?
Yeah, I think they kind of play in a stadium like that their own there in Tuttle, because didn't he build their stadium too?
Richardson Family Stadium in Tuttle.
There you go. So it's all in the family. So keeping it 100. So there you go. All they're going to do is go to Big Brother Stadium on Saturday and play at home. But I think Tuttle's going to pull it off. I think it's going to be a good ball game. I think every game that we've had, man, has been a big ball game. Everybody knows how I feel about Chata. I got so many text messages. Probably kind of how you feel about Carl Albert. People like, oh my God, it's like, dude. We just do a show. We love everybody. We love every team. I love every kid. I might not like. Go ahead.
How's my buddy Ethan doing?
He right here. He out here doing game picks, coach.
Man,
he over here doing picks.
I'm following these bowl projections right now. But I'm so. Say that again.
The Jackets are state champions.
Man,
you gotta watch the show.
Well, the way that I found out, so I worked last night. I work with Sooner Vision now, so I'm doing stuff for the basketball game last night, and I checked the score last, and I think it was like 25-7, 19-7, something like that. So I kind of put it away, and I'm on my way home, and my buddy calls me. He's a Carl Albert grad. He calls me, and he was like, What about your boys? I was like, oh, OU basketball? Yeah, they played great tonight. He's like, no, Choctaw. I was like, what? You telling me they came back and won? He was like, yeah, they sure did. So, super happy for that coaching staff and the kids there, and just the community at Choctaw. I was texting Coach Carter, one of the defensive back coaches over there, texting him last night and this morning. Just giving them my congratulations and everything. So, super excited for just the community. They've been knocking on the door for the last half decade, and they finally found a way to do it. So, super proud.
You can tell last night the emotion that Jay Corbin and a lot of them had. I mean, it took us a while to get him settled in for an interview, and then it was just, you can tell the emotion. As you said, just so close. Years, it was Bixby, then it was Muskogee, and it was Stillwater. So Choctaw finally gets over that hump. That's big for that program.
No, it's big time. Happy for those guys, man. Been part of that. Knowing a lot of the coaches over there. Jake deserves it. He's done a good job. I think it's been 8-9 years. He started building it. You got to give the man the flowers when he's due. Have always agreed to everything he does. No, but I don't have to. He don't have to agree to what I say. But at this point in time, you got to give him his flowers and congratulate him. Goose is the athletic director. I'm a big fan of him. He's helped my son out a lot. So gave him his props. Aaron McConnell, guy that played with my brother at Mill City. His son is, Braden, and got a son that plays for Vanderbilt. So gave him his shout. Mark Williams, Carl Albert grad, sons, the quarterback Cash that, probably played hurt last night, but he gave it everything he got. And I text Mark earlier in the week and said, is Cash going to play? So, oh, man, Tony, he been waiting this his whole life, and as a father, you don't want your kid to play in that last game, but you got to give it up to the kid that played the best, that could be the Guthrie's quarterback is what's his name?
Landon Gatson.
Yeah, him. He's been a player of the game. I think the last 2 weeks he's carried Chata to the semifinals and the finals. You got to give it up to him. I think your big man. He kind of said, "Hey kid, I known you all my life." But you got to be happy for that young man. I mean, that's what he went there for, to win the state championship. Now, it'll be his show next year. The biggest thing is I would ask, is keep it 100. And us sports guys, we like to, we gotta kind of, put stuff out there. With these coaching jobs open, BA, and then I think Jinx has been filled, but Union. You think any of these jobs will go after Jake Corbin? He did coach at BA. You think anybody come after him?
Well, you certainly think Broken Arrow and Union are going to be the two top paying jobs in the state of Oklahoma. If money plays a factor, it certainly does play a factor there. I've always said with the Union job, I'd be interested with Coach Antonio Graham with the Wausau. He's an 04 graduate from Tulsa Union. So does he want to go back home to Union, where the resources at Union are probably I would favor Union with their stadium and all the resources they have there. That's an option. I think Coach Graham has to be in that conversation for Union. They're going to be able to kind of pick who they want, but I think Coach Graham has to be in that conversation. And for Broken Arrow, I think Jake Corbin makes a lot of sense. I think Travis Hill, who used to be an assistant coach,
is that Coach Hill is that Coach Hill at Muskogee?
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I love Coach Hill, but Coach Hill, if you ain't got a field goal kicker, I don't know you need to go coach a big program like that.
I'm just
saying.
He can go get you one at Broken Arrow.
I'm just saying.
They trotted that young man out last night, and then Jake calls a timeout. I was like, man, Coach, just put him back in Ficklin's hands and just don't leave it to that kicker. Yeah. And I know there's other plays that happen throughout the entire game, but man, I just feel for that young man kicking the football and that hour and a half drive home. It just oh my gosh.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you this, Mr. Evans. When he came out with those Green Abdul-Jabbar goggles on, I knew they wasn't gonna win the game.
Well,
man.
I'm just saying.
Come on.
My daughter came to me and said, "Dad, he got goggles on." I said, "Baby,
hey,
it's over."
I played basketball and I wore those Kareem Abdul.
It's basketball. He's a kicker.
No, I'm just saying.
He's a kicker.
I'd get a bucket on you in my goggles.
I don't care. He's a kicker.
Don't hate on the goggles.
Tony.
Yes, sir.
Tony, I saw the same thing, but I was trying to help him out, but it was remember the Georgia Bulldog kicker?
Yeah,
I know
yes.
I was like, come on, maybe he's like the Georgia Bulldog kicker that would come through. I was really hoping for him to kick that.
If this kicker's watching this, I'm sorry.
No, we're just the show. No, I'm not being mean. It's called Keep It 100. I didn't say nothing about it. I just said he came out with goggles on. When he came out with the goggles on,
he can't help it. He was born with bad eyesight.
Man, I got bad eyes. I got bifocals on doing the show. Yeah. I'm saying he came out with goggles on. I knew he'd been better off having a patch on his eye. I'm just telling you. All I got to say, Chris, is funny because I felt like, Franklin just committed from, Texas State to go to Utah. And I felt like he did some good things, but everybody talks about the running back for Muskogee. I felt like he tripped up on a lot of plays. It's like, Choctaw did a great job open field tackling, but I felt like it's like, man, down in they gave the ball to to the running back that came over from Bottlesville. I felt like they should have kept the ball in Jamal's hand. If I'm trying to win a state championship and I'm putting it in my best player's hand, and he was the best player. Chata couldn't stop him, and I just felt like, man, he really didn't have no top receivers. And I just felt like, man, you could see the game just slipping away. It's 25-7. I felt like Muskogee went on cruise control, like, oh, this game is over. The next thing you know, Juju takes it to the house. And I thought Muskogee did a good job with Juju. Besides the kickoff return, they did a good job. I mean, Tata is it's hard to kind of prepare for because, man, that one play they threw it 3 different people before they threw it a touchdown to the pick tight end Hawk. So I mean, it was a great game overall. It was a great high school game. Like you said, it came down to the kicker. I mean, and I feel sorry for that man driving home because I kind of watched him. They had a film on him. I guess his mom or somebody was hugging him after the game. But man, I'm telling you right now, he ain't gonna be for a while. People when he walk into Muskogee, somewhere to get something to eat, man, they gonna look at him like oh man. But great game though overall though, great game. One more game. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Juju six catches for only 35 yards.
Yes.
Bicklin had 161 yards on the ground. PJ Wallace, the running back, had 122 yards. PJ Wallace did carry it 27 times. That's quite a bit in a 6A championship game.
Yes,
Juju did have that 94-yard kick return.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That was huge.
That was huge. That might have been the difference of the game, but I feel like they couldn't get the 2-point. I mean, if they get 1 2-point conversion, they win the game. I mean, Muskogee, I felt like I told people because Corbin's usually that guy that kind of goes out there and gambles a lot. I felt like he coached a great game last night. I'm gonna give him that because he didn't go for it on 4th and 2. He punted. And he did a good job on that before he onside kick. I think that cost him last year against Stillwater. He onside kicks the ball, and they end up getting it going down and scoring. This year, I felt like this game, I thought he coached a perfect game, called a perfect game. Even when they got down, he didn't panic, didn't start trying to throw the ball down the field. He stayed in controlling his offense. So, like I said, good job to him. I got to ask you about Millwood, though. Millwood cannot get the monkey off the back with Washington. Has the lead the whole game and gets beat 6-7. Once again, comes down to an extra point. What do you think CJ's going to do? You think he stays at Millwood? Or do you think he leaves?
Man, Tony, I'm not a big transfer guy. I guess I'm getting too old. I think is what's happening. But I really like for those kids to stay home where they grew up. Grade school and junior high and freshman football and in high school. So I hope for CJ and for Millwood. I think Coach Franklin does everything the right way at Millwood, and they're going to be good. I will say this: if Turnbull leaves, Millwood's going to be good next year. If he comes back, they're going to be good next year as well. So I just hope for his teammates and his buddies, he's able to stay. He had 115 passing yards, 68 on the ground. Just ran into a Washington team and give Millwood all the credit. I mean, they get by Marlowe the previous week, and I really didn't give Millwood a whole lot of chance. Washington on the state's longest winning streak now at 44. Was kind of rolling pretty good, and I thought Washington was just kind of going to take it to Millwood, but Millwood gets on the board first, and Washington shut out in the first half. Got that one touchdown in the third quarter, but Millwood really showed me a lot this week. They're always talented, and Coach Franklin always does a great job on the sideline. They put it together and took down a very, very good or almost beat a very good Washington club. It took Nate Roberts and everything he had to prevail them to victory over Millwood. So I hope Mr. Turnbull comes back for his senior year and has a chance at a gold ball.
That's the thing about these kids, man. They all get to talking, and I'm hearing that he's going to leave. I don't know. I've got a chance to talk to his mom, wonderful woman. Liz is a wonderful woman. You're talking about a class act mother. It's all about her son. This young man's a smart kid too. So CJ, like I said, I hope he stays. And everybody wants to win that state championship. So I think that's why a lot of these kids, bounce around to try to win that gold ball. It's something to always brag about and have the rights to wear that ring or put it in your glass box. But I don't know. Like I said, a lot of kids are leaving. I don't know how much you got coming back, but Millwood's always going to be there, and you're always going to have Washington. Washington, they had a freshman quarterback. You think they're going to fall off, and they don't. And then, they end up doing, get another state championship with a freshman quarterback. They do lose the tight ends and some other players, but the deal is, man, people's going to move into Washington because when you're a winning program, people's want to go there. I mean, they want to start there in 8th grade, 9th grade. I mean, my daughter just played their 8th grade girls in the state. I mean, in the Chickasha tournament. It was a great game. One of the toughest games we played this year. But Washington's well coach. I mean, it's a good community, great people. So it has its own little own little thing going on out there. So like I said, I don't know if you ever. It's kind of like I don't do the Coach Jones show no more, but somebody asked me about Jones, and I said I think Jones should put his name in one of those hats for one of those jobs. I don't think I'm just gonna be real, man. I mean, I don't think. And I might be wrong, and I'm not saying this. People probably gonna get mad at me and cuss me out because I'm on a show with you. But I don't know if Dell City's ever gonna beat Carl Albert. I just don't know. I mean, Jones has some great talent, and Carl Albert's not gonna fall off, man. I mean, I know you're losing, a lot of those guys, Trinae and Tristan and Davis, but dude, they got guys in the waiting. I mean, Bo Davis is a kid you're gonna hear about. Elijah Matthews, I mean, they just got so many kids coming in the back end, and plus you're gonna have some kids move in, and that offensive line comes back. So you're not
exactly
losing.
right.
Yeah, and then you got Collier in the waiting at quarterback. Is going to be a junior next year. His dad was a state champion quarterback in Midwest City. So I don't think Carl Albert falls off any. I know Jones got he got two young quarterbacks. He got the Cruz kid, and he got the young man that's just a freshman that played in the game the other night. He does lose. I mean, he does still have Rickler Holmes, probably one of the top players in the state, coming back, but he loses a lot on the offensive line. But I just don't know, man. I just don't. Sometimes you gotta, and I know you talked about Antonio, but I'm gonna ask you this though: why would Antonio leave and he got pretty much everybody coming back for him? Unless he can get those kids to come Union. I mean, why leave? That's your new family.
Well, I would certainly think Union would put an extra couple digits on that contract that would consider him moving.
Hey, if you put a couple digits on yours, I'm coming to join your show right now. Me and Ethan's coming as a package deal.
Always room on our team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you got anything else? I mean, I know you're having lunch, man. I'm glad you could join me. But I got to ask you, what do you feel about the Carl Albert Guthrie game? Do you think Guthrie can do it? I know you're a beat writer for him. I know your heart's with them, but do you think they can do it?
It's going to be a tall task. I've seen Carl Albert since the mid '90s. I was still in high school in the mid '90s, so I'm not that old. But that's the best defense I've seen from Carl Albert. They can do so much things that I think they can. You put Haynes and Washington and those other DBs one-on-one with their wide receivers and send the house to stop the running game. Very similar to what I think they. I haven't got to see the Carl Albert Del City game, but you can go one-on-one with receivers and send Marcus James and Davis into your backfield, whether it's to get the running game stopped down or get to the quarterback. I think that's a huge advantage. Carl Albert's offense, not what it has been in the past, but with the senior quarterback, if he can just kind of throw it up like we saw in Guthrie, and not necessarily in a bad way as far as throwing it up, but if you can get out to the playmakers,
Yes,
a little screen pass out to Tristan Haynes, and he can make one move and it's 20 yards, and then you lob it up to him one-on-one coverage. So Guthrie, Guthrie will have a great game plan. It always comes down to the Jimmies and Joes. Carl Albert shines in these moments. Guthrie's never lost a state championship game. So it will be a big matchup for the Jays to overcome, and really it would stun the state. It would be the biggest.
No, it'd be the biggest upset. It would. It would be big.
Yeah, just I'm keeping it 100 for you, Tony, on your show.
No. I mean, I'm right there with you. I think you got to go play the game, man. I don't. Sometimes this is when Mike has to do his best coaching, because you got to get these guys dialed out. And you just beat these guys 3 or 4 weeks ago, man. They're not. I mean, you got to think they're kids. I mean, are we gonna really practice hard? Are we gonna be on the Xbox this week? Are we gonna be on the PlayStation? This is when you got to get the kids dialed in. When you already beat somebody, it's kind of like I see our girls basketball team. We know we're gonna beat this team. Sometimes they don't look as good as they can look. So this is when he has to dial those guys in, man. I mean, you just came off a big game. This is kind of a trap game. You came off a big game against Dell City. A lot of smack talking, going all through the year. We're the best in Midwest City. Y'all ain't that. You got us last year. We're going to get you this year. Carl Albert weathered the storm. I will tell you this. I was at the game for right up there on the sideline. I mean, in the end zone watching it. Man, I'm telling you right now, I was a little bit nervous because, man, Dell City played good the first quarter. I mean, they came out at 0-0. Should have scored twice, and they didn't. If you get Carl Albert down 14-0, now they got to play a different ball game, but they didn't. Could have been a safety one time. It wasn't a safety. I'm not saying it because I'm because this or that. It wasn't a safety, but Dell City had their chances to score. They really did. Their game plan was cool, but what happened is when you go in the second half and you give John, defense coordinator, and you get Brandon Johnson has been there for 20-some years. Then you get Mike Dunn and the rest of that coaching staff get together in a huddle, and they come out and say, we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. Because one of the plays, K. Davis scores right there before halftime. They go up 7-0. Had a chance to kick a field goal to make it 10-0. He missed it by an inch, and I told somebody, that's to come down to a field goal kicker. Carl Albert got a guy that can kick over 40-something, 50-something yards. That's Dale City, but Kane Davis scores, come out second half, don't score. This is the funny thing about it. Dale City has all these great athletes. Carl Albert made one switch. The first time they threw the ball, they threw it to Tristan. They threw it to Trinae. Devin overthrew him. Come back the same play, Evans, and throws it to Tristan. He takes it, 40-some yards for a touchdown because he's a little bit faster. Just didn't make no adjustments on that. Okay, that's open. We're going to come back with a faster guy and throw it to him, and he catches it. And, after that was over. Like I said, Dale City had some great opportunities. They did, like I said, it sucks for Robert Jones because, he's always going to have that nemesis. Kind of like Guthrie, you got that CA nemesis. I wish, somebody could go to 4A or to Class 6A because I think the Class 6A, you seen it last night, not taking down from Dale City to Muskogee. Muskogee goes undefeated, then gets beat. How tough is that 6A2? Probably not as tough as 5A, if you're really looking at it. But it is what it is. You got to play the cards you dealt with, Like I said, it's always a pleasure to get to talk to you, me and Big E. Looking forward to seeing you this Saturday at the game, man. And like I said, I'm still waiting to come on the show, man, and show my beautiful face because you guys all look good. Everybody got to see me behind an iPhone camera, I'm ready to come on with you guys.
Well, we can whenever you're in town. We're there Wednesday night, so come down anytime. It'll be fun, and much like Dell City, Guthrie will not be intimidated by the Carl Albert logo, and we'll give everything they have in the championship. So that's one thing about Dell City Guthrie when they play Carl Albert. They're not beat when they show up. They're ready to play. Sometimes you'll be out athlete, sometimes you'll be out coached, and that's just credit to Carl Albert. So it'll be a fun game. Looking forward to that. Big E, congratulations on the Yellow Jackets getting that state championship. It's been the first time since 1902, I think it is.
1902.
No, something like that. No, 1960 though. I don't even know if
you wasn't
my
even thought of it,
grandparents
Big
might
E.
have. Yeah,
None of us was thought of it at that time.
Yeah. So, but yeah, super stoked for just the community of Choctaw, really. And those coaches. I just know how hard they work and they game plan and how hard those kids work in the off season and in the season to get there. So it's really good to see.
It's a reminder that state championships are hard to win no matter how good you are. Right. They are hard to win in every sport. So, Tony, great job on the show. You guys had a great year. I know there's another week of football games, but congratulations on the show. I try to catch it every single time for bedtime. So you guys have done a great job with that, and look forward to basketball season. And,
yes, and I'd like to get you with some of this. We started a new one. Me and Coach V, the head coach of Harris Girls Basketball, Between the Lines, Oklahoma High School Girls. Man, we're trying to promote girls sports here. Just kind of like keep it 100, just trying to get girls' names out, man. And I know you do a lot in basketball, so love to have you on that show too, man. We can talk girls basketball, me, you, and Coach V, because this is the state of Oklahoma, man. We want this to be the best state in all our sports, man. I think, that's why I like to have you on, man. I know a lot of people love us, and a lot of people hate us, but you know what? I think we do a great job bringing what we bring to the high school sports, man. We give the information we can. We try not to give you false information. It's kind of like on the guy with the OC. We'll report what we know, but hey, that's not my job to go investigate. I let OSSA and the Guthrie and whoever else need to do all that. When we find something out, we'll let everybody know. But that's not going to change the outcome of the game. You still got to go line up and play. If that guy, to me, if I'm Carl Albert, if that guy's calling a great game, I want him to coach. I'm saying? I want it to be a game. That's what you want. But I don't think a guy calling plays or whatever. I don't know. That to me is kind of weird. But that's not for me to worry about. But Chris, like I said, love having you. Anytime we can do it, I want to get together and talk, man. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity. I know me and Big E and Jonas got a chance to do some stuff with Dix, man. Love you to join us on one of those shows, man. It's something. We're just trying to build this brand. Like I said, we don't make a dollar doing it, but I love doing it. So I'm going to keep doing it until I don't enjoy it no more. And that's what my wife told me. When you start getting paid on is when you don't like it no more, because the job right now is a good hobby. Yep. I want E to get paid because that's what he's going to school for, but I do have a full-time job.
As do I. So I appreciate you guys as always, and look forward to see you guys next week at UCO.
All right, thanks, sir. Have a good day. Thanks for joining us, doing
Thank
your
you,
lunch,
guys.
man. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
You bet.
Folks, that's Chris Evans, man, the beat writer for Guthrie Blue Jays. Does a great job, man. Always a pleasure to have him on the show with us. We can talk high school sports. I mean, and he does a great job, you know. I know a lot of people think he's a Dell City hater, this and that, but I don't know if he's a Dell City hater. I think he might just be a guy that, hey, you know, he's a Guthrie Blue Jay. You know, if I was probably still involved with the Midwest City Bombers, they probably call me a Bomber. You know, people call me a Carl Albert, you know, homer. But I mean, my daughter plays basketball for Carl Albert. I graduated from Midwest City. My kids graduated from 3 of my kids graduated from Choctaw. You know, I know my sons are probably happy that Choctaw won it. They still have a great relationship with Jake Corbin, with Terrence Carter. I mean, because they do don't mean I have to. I mean, like I said, you know, my granddaughter's in the same class as Jake's son. So, I mean, if I see him, hey, what's up? Congratulations. You know, but like I said, I gave Aaron McConnell and Cash, Mark Williams, you know, the congratulations on their sons, man. I mean, it's their senior year, man. I mean, everybody did the same thing when my son won a national champion. People I haven't talked to in a long time, you know. I mean, Choctaw guys gave him love, you know. So, like I said, folks, it's you don't have enemies. I mean, you don't have an enemy over sports, man. You might not like everything that goes on, but at the end of the day, we're just a talk show trying to talk high school sports, man. Sometimes you're going to like what we say, and sometimes you're not going to like what we say. Right there, right, Big E?
Yeah.
But like I said, I got to get my baby girl, and since we are talking about that Carl Albert.
Oh, he's got to change the screen.
Got to change the screen a little bit. Just change the screen. Nothing big. Nothing too big. What else, Big E? Why change the screen?
I don't know. I'm tracking these bowl.
What
bowl
you got?
games.
What bowl you got?
They haven't said anything yet, but it's projected that we'll be playing Navy in the Armed Forces Bowl in Arlington. I think it's Arlington or Frisco. I can't remember.
Frisco. That's not too far. What weekend is
either
that?
one. That's I think that's the week before Christmas. So it'd be pretty soon.
Okay, because I'm going down to my kids live down there in Frisco, close to Frisco. So might be something I might. Hey, baby, that might be my Christmas gift. But real quick, want to give the Carl Albert 8th grade Lady Titans. Shout out. Won back-to-back 7th and 8th grade championship in the Chickasha tournament. You know, they got one loss this year to Midwest City Bombers. First loss they've had all year. You know, I could talk about them on this show more because it's not between the lines, and I don't want nobody to think I'm being biased because when I'm talking about the high school girls basketball, oh, you're talking about your daughter, you're talking about Carl Albert, but this is Keep It 100, Tony Johnson, Big E, and Jonah's show. So I could talk about them a little bit more on this show, but like I said, I'd like to give these young ladies a shout out, you know, winning the tournament. Great tournament. I mean, first night they won 43-3. Then the second day they won 71-12. Then they won in the championship 51-25 against a Washington team. You know, anybody knows Washington girls basketball is a pretty good program. Great middle school coach. Got a great high school coach. Did some good things. Zoe had a great week. I'd say she played lights out. You know, all 3 games. I think one night she had 16, then she had 22. Then I think in the championship game she had 17. But just not just offense scoring the ball. You know, I've learned a lot with Coach Vick is just filling up the stat sheet. You know, averaging about, I think she averaged 5 steals a game, great assist, rebound, and just controlling the game. You know, getting girls lined up, getting girls the ball. You know, it's not about her just scoring, just getting the ball to the other girls to get them scoring. So this team's a fun team to watch. Shout out to Coach Richie, came out, supported them yesterday. Love to see the high school coach in the gym supporting these girls, man. Just because it's a simple fact, this is your future. These are your babies, man. I mean, they love to see you there, and I think they all tickled to see that he was there. And I know Coach V does the same thing, and a lot of these other coaches. You know, it's like I said, we'll get into men's basketball on this side more than I won't really talk that much girls on this side just because of the simple fact I have the girls show. But congratulations to Midwest City's boys beating Millwood yesterday in a big-time game. So, like I said, basketball is full effect. You know, a lot of big tournaments coming up this week. I think they got the Hare got his 52nd tournament. I'm going to come catch some games there. Like I said, a lot of big things going on the next few weeks. Football's winding down. When football wind down, we'll do 2 shows a month. We'll still do the Oklahoma Girls Between the Lines. We'll do it once a week. But when football closed down, I mean, it just, you know, it's so hard to try to cover every high school basketball game of wrestling. So me,
Right.
Big E. Huh?
Yeah. So, you're right.
So me and Big E and Jonah, you know, we'll just meet twice a month and then kind of go from there. And, I mean, Big E's doing the OU stuff too. So And like I said, I'm doing the Oklahoma Between the Lines, and then Zoe and my baby girl Ivy just started basketball. So I'm a busy papa and father. So stay busy. Big E, anything else before we get out of here, though?
No, just thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Congratulations to all the teams that made it to the postseason on a great season, whether you got beat out in the first round or you won the state championship. Just congrats to all you guys, all the seniors that are moving on. Some of you are lucky enough to keep playing the sport at the next level, and some of you that's the end. But there's life after football. And it's been great to me. So I know it'll be great for you guys as well. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and share. We'd really appreciate that. And I guess, do you have anything else that you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to give Davis get the win over Vian.
Davis over Vian.
Yeah, in the 2A. 2A2, so Davis get the win over Vian 28-18.
My bad, I jumped the gun.
No, that's fine, Biggie. That's me. I missed that too because Chris got to going, and man, Chris tried to clown a little bit though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Talking about 1902.
Yeah.
I think it was in the 60s.
Yeah, 1960 was the last time they won it.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, he gave you your flowers though. Your team winning it, man. And but folks, we do appreciate everything you do, man. Keep subscribing. I mean, I love what we do here, man. I don't think we're fake. I see a lot of guys trying to put podcasts together and girl shows together and all the stuff together, man. Trying to bite what we do. But you know what we do, man. I'm gonna tell you something. When you got Dick's Sporting Goods asking you to come back and they love it and the corporate likes us, that tells us we're doing something right. And like I said, we'll be shooting there here in a couple weeks at Dick's Sporting Good with Big E, Preston,
Albie.
I was getting his name. So Albie and then Chris Crawford. They would do a golf show there here in a couple weeks. We got to confirm. They gave us the dates. I'm just waiting for Jamie to get back with me to tell me what's good for her and her son. Christopher Crawford, his daddy's all on board. So I think it's gonna be a great show. He'll have some questions for him. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about Preston's, going into his senior year. I know he's feeling good. Not only is he a state championship at Choctaw, his football's a state champion. I know he was right there cheering him on. But like I said,
he plays basketball for him too.
He did. Yeah. But
is he not anymore?
Not anymore. But I just said, man, just to do that show, then me and Big Coach V come back and do a girls basketball state tournament game. I mean, show there. Probably have some either coach or some players to come in. But like I said, what we're doing over here at Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports and then Oklahoma high school girls between the lines, man, is big time, yo. Like I said, we just keep growing this product. Even with Eve going at OU, it's going to just grow his game, man. I just watched him last week, and I went back and critiqued us, man, and the way he handled the show at Dick's Sporting Goods was just, man, it was just amazing how he just talked and, fed the questions to us, man, and it just worked as good, man. We feed off each other, so I am blessed to have this guy with me for the last 4.5 years, and like I said, I hope I keep him another 4 more. Even if we're doing it for fun. But, folks, we appreciate you. Always check it out. Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Please keep on there, man. Our views have been down. Please just get them back up. Tell somebody about the show, man. I think there's another great show with Chris Evans coming on there. I always love to have guests on there, man. It ain't just about us, man. It's about everybody. But we'll catch you next week. See ya.